Hi there, internet and beautiful creatures of the beyond. Oh, what is this? An Inkscape video? We haven't done this in a while, have we? um, yeah. So we're going to do some nifty things in Inkscape. We're going to manipulate this image, and I've done a few things ahead of time because I was testing it. So before we start, let's go through the basics. I this is not this one. This one. This one is generated with the AI tool that I showed you guys, and it's nothing wild. I did crop part of it, well, mask part of the background and whatever there was. So I tried to keep it as clean as possible, but as we can see, it is kind of blurry. And I have addressed this into Inkscape into a destructive way, but we shall see that. So what I have done, first of all, I have created this background over here, but you're saying like there's still a background behind. Yes, it is. And I'll show you why I did this in a moment. If I enable this and I disable the main background, oh, shoot. There we go. You can kind of see a white outline. It's not necessarily visible when you export it, but I just said like, let's keep it like this in case we have an issue. So yeah, so I exported these two as images. Well, I didn't export them, I just dropped them into Inkscape. And in Inkscape, where are you, Inkscape? We have this. So initially, well, initially, portrait mask, outline, original portrait. So this is the original portrait. We can see it's not fantastically cropped out, but that's not the reason why I cropped it out like this. It doesn't need to be perfect, it can be sloppy. And then I have only added the black background over here. Oh snap. Organize your layers, otherwise you're gonna be having a nightmare going through all of this. Okay, so I put this background over here as a... Okay, so this is the negative mask. Well, it's the negative part of the image, and this is the positive part, the portrait, yeah, which comes and covers. So in case I just didn't want to leave these white scenes over here, I created this black background that kind of sorts this thing and slips through the cracks and whatever. It's only noticeable if you go in with a very big zoom, but whatever. Then I have created a sharpness because the original portrait was looking like this. It was kind of dull, difficult to look. And to achieve that, you just go on the portrait extension, then you go to raster and you go to sharpen. And if I'm going to sharpen it again, it's going to be even stronger. Just like preview, just the default values, don't bother too much. But it is destructive, so don't do it this way. I just did it because I was lazy and I wanted to see the results faster. Then I thought to myself, well, initially I couldn't crop out the background. And how did I do that? I have created from the original portrait, I have created a portrait outline. And this looks really cool. Basically, how you do this is you select the portrait, you go into path, then you go to trace bitmap. Why is it not showing? Oh, it's showing over here. And you select edge detection. Then voila. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. You don't have to bother too much with the... You can do it this way as well, but whatever. It's up to you. And then I exported this on a white background. And I went back into my affinity. And I have worked with this. I filled out the background here, and then I have created this to act as a mask. And we shall see this in a moment why we need it. Going back to our Inkscape. Let's go back to something more natural. So if we disable the portrait, now you can see that the mask is like this. Not perfect, but it will do. So what is the point of this mask? I have created a shape. You see it as a nice shape here. I mean, I've used let's see which one. So I went with the pen tool and with the, not the pen, yeah, the Bezier tool. And I use this option, the create spiral path. And that way you can just mess around and do whatever. It can look however you wish, but it will create this spline. So when I created this shape, I thought to myself, well, maybe I want to cover this part. And I'm only doing it for this particular spot, but you can do it for the entire lower body if you wish. So I said, I'm going to create this spot and then I am going to mask it. So I'm going to drop it here and then I'm going to create this mask. Is it working though? Weird. Where is the mask? What did I do here? Interesting. Interesting. Let's release this clip. Technically, it should work. Oh, maybe I should release it like so. Set clip. Okay, maybe there was a little visual bug there. Whatever. It works now. So we lock this in place so we don't move it, just like the portrait and the background. And the portrait itself, so we don't do any mistakes. And we fix on this shape. So what can we do with this shape? Like right now, we're looking at this image, right? And we want to export it as an image. So technically, you can do this much faster in a raster program like Photoshop, Photopea, in GIMP or whatever, even Krita. But there is something, I don't know, fantastic about working with Inkscape when it comes to blurs and I'm gonna move this a bit and opacities. I don't know, it's so much easier in my opinion because in a raster program you have to go with the feather of the brush and then kind of go around. You can kind of do it with the pen tool, but it doesn't feel the same. I don't know. Although Affinity does have a cool thing. Let's see, where is Affinity? So I could go from this and I can go to export. No, not export. Well, there was an option to just jump between softwares, and I can just jump from here into Affinity Design, which is the vector version of Affinity for Inkscape. And we can edit it there and bring it back here. I don't know exactly where that view is. There is some, maybe I disabled it by accident. Whatever, it's somewhere. So that's cool because you can interchange between software, just like Adobe. But somehow, I don't know, Inkscape is dear to my heart. So we're going to select this and let's bring some blurriness into it. And actually, no. Let's do something smarter. Let's create a gradient on it. Gonna push the opacity here to max. Let's push this into the darker value. Select it first, darker values. Push it higher. Something like that. Maybe even darker. And maybe even lighter on this side. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. So could go like this, and then I can just duplicate this. I'm going to blur it. Maybe something like this. Let's move it underneath our main shape. Maybe reduce some of the blurriness. And in this case, let me hide the shape a moment. We should try to push the values even higher. So I'm gonna, oh, come on, then select it. So pushing this into the lighter values, and this one is pretty dark, it's gonna be okay. But maybe even lighter on this edge. So now when we enable this, we can see a beautiful rendition, though I would push this back a little. I don't know, for some reason it's not bright enough. Maybe something like this. And of course, I've created it's gonna go thin at the end, just like at the beginning. So yeah, whatever. But now that we have this, we have to also address the fact that this is glowing, but part of this has to glow on our subject as well. So let's see how many parts of light we should have. In my opinion, there should be like one on this part of the hair because it's the exterior part of the hair. So we might go with something like more generous. Oh, let me go with the normal one. A more generous part of this. And again, I forgot to disable the ellipse. Let's just do that really quick, like so. And this is on top at the moment, but that's okay. We'll move it underneath in a moment. And we're gonna reduce the opacity to something like so. So remove it and put it underneath. So we already have something, but it's still too strong. Something along the line of this, maybe even something like this. So we have our blurriness on the outside of the hair, and then we have to put a bit of it underneath the hair, inside the interior of the hair. So I'm gonna go a little bit smoother. Maybe that's too much. Let's go the other way. Just exactly. Oh my god, I keep forgetting to do this. Just normal. None. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. And again, push the opacity, the blurriness, sorry, and the opacity. Maybe increase the size. The opacity is lower. The blurriness should be higher. Maybe even less opacity. Let's see. That's too little. Yeah, something like that. Or maybe even less. Maybe like so. And maybe reduce this a bit more to like 15. And I think it looks a bit natural, you know? Doesn't need to be too perfect. And you can still play with the values, but the idea is that we need something to just glow. And we can also put a bit of a glow over here. More like of a, oh, okay, not good. more of a glint. And I can do the same, just maybe more of this. It's in the dark side. The dark side. Maybe even more. Don't want to be too strong with it. Maybe some more blurriness. Maybe try to shape it a bit to follow this shape. Whatever, doesn't need to be perfect. But you guys get the idea. Yeah, maybe even a little darker. And so. Anyway. So that's that. And then we have to also address the face, because most of this will try to fall onto the face. So this is going all the way up here. So we could try to do it in parts. Let's see. I might want to follow her shape like so. Not too much and not too little. Oops. Doesn't need to be perfect because we're gonna blur this, but maybe this will go even higher than this, but the idea is just we're testing. So you can already see that the effect is looking quite fantastic. I'm gonna push it, maybe reduce some of the opacity. And the blurriness should be, well, maybe less opacity, more opacity. I don't know. This is why I said we should maybe do it in parts, because this lighter part feels good, but this higher part doesn't feel so good. So we're just going to create another shape. I'm gonna kind of create it like so. And I'm going to select this. I'm gonna duplicate this, duplicate this. I'm gonna select this. With this, I'm gonna remove one part, and this one with this one, I'm going to make the second part on top. So now we can manipulate this in different manners. We're gonna reduce it, probably reduce some of the opacity. Some of the blurriness, sorry. So it's not all that strong. And we can play with the values, push the lines, and so on. But we already manipulated this image, so as you can see, it's already to starting looking like a bit more creative. Maybe push this and like so. Because the darker side, well, we can improve the lighting, like we can go with even more opacity and maybe push this one a bit behind, this one like this one like this. I know it's looking a bit too much, but again, play with the opacity, see where the values should fall. You can also create masks if you want to kind of better define the part of this shape, because its blurriness is going a little too much to the side. Or you can just push in the curves. The distance between the curves also determine how much this effect pushes into the face, maybe even more here. There we go. Right now we're just playing. We're not making perfect designs, but and I would even push more of this blue into the shadow of the eye over here if I would continue doing this. And we can also go up the forehead, but this is more like guesswork. You have to kind of see what sticks, what doesn't. Don't overdo it. I think less is more. And we can also try to apply this effect on this other side. Let's see if I would maybe change this the other way. And let's say we move it like so. And we add even more. And maybe, I don't know, angle it even stronger. Oh, come on, push this angle. Yeah, something like this, let's say. Maybe this one is too much. And I push this. Oh, whoops, whoops. Wrong control. We can push this even lower. And this as well. Oh, come on. And in this situation, what if I want to go with more of a pinkish kind of color? Let's see. We don't even need to change the values. The initial values. We can just play like this. Maybe push this lower part a bit into the red side. Or the blue side, actually. That looks more interesting. Kind of meets the other side. Creates this violet effect. Violet to pink. And now, of course, we have this issue that we need to create another mask. So I'm just gonna take the original mask, portrait mask. I'm gonna duplicate this. What did I duplicate it? I'm gonna drop it over here. I'm gonna duplicate the portrait. And well, I could have done it in the same mask, not a problem, but whatever. And now we just need to move the portrait underneath the mask. We're just gonna take our Bezier tool and create sort of like this shape. And we're going to combine this shape with this one. Bam, we get this image. And then, I mean, this patch, and then we use our portrait, the duplicated one, with this, and we create a set clip, and voila, we have a portion that hides this part. Okay, perfect. So again, we just do the same things. We duplicate this, lower it underneath, even more, create the blur effect. Oh, this is a nice blur effect. And again, play with the values. On the top, you would like it to be more towards the whitish. Am I doing it to the correct one? I don't think I am. Although kind of like, nah, okay, let's undo some of this part. If I can undo it. Okay, perfect. Let me block this initial shape. And again, we go into this, we select this, we push into a more whiter spectrum. This is dark enough. We're going to re-enable our shape on top. I don't know why. Sometimes uh, Inkscape does this weird thing where it connects the two gradients together. And I don't like this. And it's a pain to separate them. I don't actually know what's the best approach. But yeah, you kind of have to redo the whole gradient again, so we'll just do that. And push it again like so. Push it into the light. And there we go. So yeah, I don't actually know what's the reason for that. But, well, he loves to do weird things. So again, we can just add some elements over here. And we're going to select this color. Maybe a bit lighter as well. And again, blur it, reduce opacity, and make sure it's underneath the shapes. Oops, what did I do? Okay. And we can still play with the values here, like how much we want to extend it, how much we want to blur it, even more blur probably, something like this for now. Doesn't need to be ultra, maybe a bit more. Still pushing it too much. Always fiddle with the freaking values. It's gonna take a while. So you get something similar. And then this one is going to have more of a profile over this part. Or maybe like so. My mistake. Something like that. Let's see, maybe even more noticeable. Not too much though. And actually, I made a mistake here. It should be, because maybe it goes a bit into an angle, so push it a bit higher. And again, it's difficult on white values. It's difficult to get the correct. You can go with gradients to kind of go darker on this side or lighter on this side, depending on how the shadows fall. And the same for the face if we want. We can go with a tiny slither of light. Again, full. Lower the values. More blur. And there we go. Beautiful portrait. And you can edit many little things like this. But blurs and opacity do a lot of magic. So, yeah. I think if this software would be even more developed to include the raster design, because a lot of the raster elements that you would find in all of the other software that I have mentioned, like Photoshop, Photopea, etc., they're pretty much here. The only one that I think is missing is the levels. Not the levels, sorry, the curves. Yeah, I don't see curves here. Of course, there would be a need for more things such as brushes and then selection by color, then detect selection by element. So, for example, if I would auto detect the selection, like you do it in Photopea, you have that brush that kind of detects where your subject is, and based on how darker the color is outside, it kind of outlines your entire character in one strike, which is nice, but not necessarily needed here because we have such perfect control over the Bezier tool. And yeah, that would make a whole lot of sense to implement. And even though there are things that kind of transmute to the other softwares in terms of vector design, I feel like they rasterize too much. So even though they kind of keep a sharpness to it, the more you zoom in, you start to see that edge becoming blurred and you see the pixels. While here, oh, perfect. I thought I killed it. Or maybe I did kill it. Well, uh, thank you, Inkscape. You're amazing. Oh, no, somehow it healed itself. Perfect. Here, no matter how much you zoom, it keeps the sharpness of the edge, so you can play in so many ways without losing the clarity or any other details that you have been working with, especially on the gradients. Gradients in raster design are quite fixed and destructive, and you have to reshade them, regradient them over and over until you get the correct position. But here it's so much better. But those things also improve over time. But I highly, highly would wish that Inkscape would implement those parts, those tools to make it even better, like all in one place. Of course, it would not be easy because it would clutter a lot of the elements here, but you could have two modes you could switch between in the same software, and that would make all the difference in the world. I think this software is pretty robust and has a lot of good things going for it. And you can even create more effects if you go and play with color, image. There are some interesting effects over here um, that are a little bit more advanced. The tools over here can offer you some interesting things if you want to create some patterns or some textures. And most of them would still be in vector mode, so they would not be destructive. And the render is pretty cool here. Here you also have, but this is more on the vector side than on the raster side. Although you can still apply some things from here onto the raster from time to time. But again, just with simple elements, we can create such cool and amazing things. Thinking about it, what if we also add a few circles here? Why not? It's our design, we can do whatever we wish. And another one with a lot of blur and lighter blur in the background. And I push this a bit more. Look at it. Super duper. I'm gonna group this. And then if we want to duplicate it and make it smaller, although I'll make this larger a bit. There we go. Really cool things. And maybe reduce some of the opacity on this too. I can make really cool design. Yeah, so I hope this inspired you guys to create your own things. especially since AI gives us so much versatility now to play with images, combine them, get really interesting subjects that have various angles in color and lighting, and the possibilities are endless now. Before, we were imagining things, and it was so difficult to nuance them and to compose them in our work, and it takes so much time. But now we're just like bam, with a snap of a finger, we create whatever we wish, and this is how it it should be really, because the tools we have available should simplify our work and not make everything tedious. It's nice to go into detail and really do a lot of the nitty gritty work there, but after some time, you once you do like a portrait or something, or many portraits, you kind of wish that you want to automate a lot of the work that you do, because it becomes very repetitive sometimes, and some things you're like, "Ah, I'm not really in the mood to do it all over again." But yeah, you'll get the idea. And still, my design is not perfect. It could be improved by a lot. This one is kind of sensitive, but playing with light shadows. And I really wish they would introduce something like curves, because levels are nice and all, but if you want to take this whole thing and just export it and re-import it again and just play with the colors and so on in here, this becomes problematic, because you have to go through all of this UI and all of these sub menus, while in another software you just play with the values faster. So yeah, using the correct tools for that make your life easier is very important. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know. It's a silly experiment, but I loved it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye 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 bye.